Well, Firtash is living in Vienna, as both of us know, and is not going to be delivered to the United States. So he has kind of a safe haven in Austria, and he wants to stay and live in Vienna, which is supposedly very good for him because nobody disturbs him there. He has good connections into the government. He's got good connections to the old government. He's got money there, so he's not being hampered by anybody. A few Ukrainian oligarchs doing business in Vienna. Money laundering is running through Vienna. The Justice Department is not really very much into that. There's right-wing populist party members working with Ukrainian oligarchs, selling them parts of their firms. So there's lots of activity, let's put it that way, and very little of that is investigated.
Okay, and what does it mean, just not in the case of Austria, maybe of European legislation, and in the same time of like a USA politics, which really deal a lot in this case?
Mm-hmm. Well, it doesn't seem like any of that is applying to Firtash at the moment, or to all of those people who are money laundering, because it doesn't seem like the European justice has enough energy and enough resources to take care of that. Money laundering is a big problem all over the world, and since the Ukrainian authorities aren't really very active in pursuing the cooperation, I don't have to tell you about the discussion here about inactivity. So the Austrians and the European legislative areas, they don't really concentrate on that. They have enough to do with money laundering of their own population. The only thing that I investigated is the money that he's putting into the Agency for the Modernization of Ukraine, which is actually a Vienna-based thing involving lots of European politicians, former politicians, people who used to be important, are not anymore, but still have good contacts. And this Agency for the Modernization of Ukraine, as it's called, was, I guess, invented in order to further his image in the West, in order to evade being delivered to the United States. So he was successful in that. Since he was successful, and his trial in the United States, if it's ever going to take place, is not taking place with him, he doesn't need that agency anymore. So what I know is that not only is he not funding it anymore, I even hear from sources that the money he promised was never paid.
Okay, that's really some.
Yeah.
in his tradition.
Yes.
Absolutely. I've been in the court also, and we really felt this power, felt his professionalism in defending himself.
Yeah, he's good.
And
he sells himself well. There's a government, there's a president, there are good connections between the governments, there's a foreign minister. I haven't heard them speaking loudly about Firtash. Austria, he's not big. I mean, Firtash is just some oligarch, and if you were to ask people on the street who's Firtash, they would say, who? So there has been a big trial about the stepson of the president of Kazakhstan. Okay. That has been busying the judicial system of Austria. All kinds of famous people are running around in Vienna. It's an international town. Firtash is just one amongst many, so nobody's really interested in him. He is only interesting for those people he's paying, and he's paying. He is not, as we know, but he promised to pay well, and he has good contacts into the economic scene of a few European countries, amongst them to Germany. So he's selling himself well.